What's up guys, it's Solo, and today we're bringing you a little tier list from the current closed beta and the state of Valorant. This is what I think and a couple of my friends think, and that I've seen on the internet so far. There has been a few tier lists that are pretty close to mine. I'm gonna just break down each character, each agent, and where I think they belong and why. Not to say anyone, and even the lowest rating, as you can see, I go from S to C. Even the lowest rating of C, I think the agents are still viable. Maybe there will be certain champs or other agents in the future that'll make them even more viable, or certain maps that they do well on, because there are only currently 3 maps. So we can just take it with a grain of salt. Every agent is useful, every agent is playable, and as long as you can win your gunfights, you can utilize your abilities anyways. So don't worry about it. If your agent is in the C tier, everyone is pretty useful. For S tier, I'm going to start with Sage. S for Sage. She's easily one of the best agents in the game. I think all of her abilities are insane. She has a resurrect, she has a heal, she has a physical ice wall that feels like it lasts for 30 seconds. It lasts for literally a third of the round that you have to shoot to get through, which takes time, gives them information where you're going to be. And her slows are really insane. Not only does it slow them, it gives you the sound cue so you know exactly where they are. She can literally control an entire zone and solo a site, install a lot of time on her own. I think Sage is very strong and is a must needed for a competitive comp. Next I would say is Cypher at S tier. Cypher also has the ability to solo sites on defense on his own. Not only that, he can also kind of help and rotate early, along with having his traps and his wires and his camera still at his main site. So he's essentially playing 2 sites at the same time. And Cypher's ultimate also gives information. Information is very important in a game like this, and the fact that he brings so much information and pressure to a game just is insane. And he's definitely an S tier. I can see him falling off a bit on the offensive side, and possibly certain maps where he can't really utilize his abilities that well. But currently I believe he's S tier, and information and global pressure, map pressure he has is just too strong. And for the last S tier, I'm gonna throw Brimstone up there. Sucks, Brimstone and Breach always kind of look the same to me. Brimstone is my 3rd S tier. I think these 3 are always going to be used. Brimstone is just very good on offense. Even on defense he can stall as well. But he has just the safest and best smokes in the game. He has the most smokes. He has 3. They're all very safe because you don't have to put yourself in danger. It's hard to mess up the smokes. And he's just very, very crucial to an offensive execution. His ultimate also causes a lot of pressure. You can force people out of certain areas. You can kill people on and off bomb plants and diffuses. Kind of just does a little bit of everything. He also has the utility of his molly, or grenade-like thing, which is pretty good. The only thing I would say is pretty lackluster is the stim beacon, but if you can properly use it, you can. Now, you don't have to exactly be in the beacon. I think that's the problem with it. You give away your position, but even if they know where you are, it'll be pretty useful. And you still have the buff when you leave the beacon. So if you leave your stim beacon and a choke, and all your entire team runs through the beacon as well, like they can have the buff for a few seconds. So it's not necessarily useless. But yeah. So this is where it could be a little, my tier list could be a little debatable. I'm gonna have Raze at A tier. Some people think Raze is S tier. I personally think Raze is A tier against good players, but she is definitely S tier against bad players. Her entire kit just does an insane amount of damage. Against bad players, your grenades will get tons of kills. Your satchel can even get kills. I think they need to nerf the damage on everything. The boom bot gets kills against bad players. I think good players should be able to shoot the bot. There are small areas and scenarios where the bot will still do damage to you. And a rocket is very annoying to deal with. It's not a guaranteed kill, but it pretty much is. And if you're clumped up when she has that rocket, then GG, you know. But Raze is definitely one of the agents that I believe should be fixed up a bit. She does a little bit too much damage with her current kit. Maybe lower the rocket speed, maybe lower the rock damage from her nades, but definitely harder to use at the higher level where people can just simply wait out the nades every round and bait the nades unless comboed with like a sage slow or something. But it's easy to kind of bait out Raze's nades and just play safe. So I don't know, it's gonna be kind of tough to see where she's gonna end up. Next we'll go to everyone else that I believe is A tier. I'm going to put Breach as my first A tier agent. I think he's insane at engaging. His stuns are insane. His ult is insane. Just brings a lot of utility to a fight, and he can force fights. And if comboed correctly or if executed correctly, he can flash corners and have the rest of your team flood out and start the fight. He's pretty much the best initiator in my opinion. Doesn't look as, you know, edgy as the other agents, but he just does an insane amount of damage. I think his aftershock is kind of hard to get hit by, but other than that, like his abilities, his stuns are pretty insane. Some of them are easy to dodge, but his stun still does have the engages that your team might need on the offense, even on defense too, but definitely offense. Well, he can kind of force fights, especially his flashpoint. Next, I would say, honestly, from here, I would probably put Sova in the A to B tier as well. I think Sova has potential to be an A tier because of the amount of information he can get as well with his arrow and his drone. He's also pretty safe, but if you're not good with him, I believe Sova takes a lot of tech, mechanical skill, and certain lineups on the map to maximize your arrow. If you're bad with Sova, I would drop him into a B tier, but if you're good with Sova, he can definitely be an A tier. His ultimate's pretty hard to use if you're not good. You can whiff a lot, but his ult is also really good on the defending side, both offense and defense. When the bomb is down, he's really good in post-plant situations. He's good at getting entry frags if he can mark someone with his drone or has information on one of them. I think Sova can bring a lot to the table. All of his abilities are pretty good, but definitely hard to play, so I would put him in this A to B tier. So we'll drop down to the B tier now. I would put Phoenix here. I think Phoenix also has potential to be an A tier, but I feel like Breach is a little better than Phoenix. Phoenix's ult is kinda easy to outplay. When you know she's gonna ult and just full sprint somewhere to try and trade and get a kill before his ult pops. So it's pretty telegraphed. There are maps like I can't think of the map names right now, but the one with the teleporter where he ults and can just run through the teleporter and catch someone off guard. There are small interactions like that you can maximize his ultimate. Generally speaking, he's probably he's just not as good as Breach in my opinion. His flashes are a bit harder to dodge because they just turn the corner and pop very fast compared to Breach's has a small little charge up that you can avoid. He does have some utility still. He does bring mollies, I believe 2 mollies, and he has a wall, which is pretty good. No, it is just a fireball, but like, yeah, he's still usable. He's still a good entry. I just don't think he's as good as Breach overall. He's still viable, still playable agent. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, every agent is playable. And along with Phoenix, I would put Jett as well. Jett in the B tier with him. Simple fact that Jett doesn't bring much utility to the game, which is the problem that I have with Jett. I still I think I would put Jet in between A and B. I think people are downplaying Jet because she doesn't bring much utility, but the fact that she can get an entry very safely and not get traded, she can split the point of interest by jumping on boxes and having different angles that most agents don't have. She is playable and is really good in a good player's hands. If Jet can get the first blood almost every single round without getting traded, or if Jet can pick up kills without getting traded, I can see her being very good. But just the fact that her smokes last feels like a second and she doesn't bring much utility to the team other than just kill pressure seems pretty selfish. But she's definitely a high risk, high reward agent. And her ultimate is not something like Razor's ult where it feels like it's a free kill. You still have to be able to aim with her ultimate. But the good thing I feel about her ult is on eco rounds you can still use it and save money on purchasing a gun and manage to get kills with your ult and pick up guns. So she's pretty good for the economy. So I'll put her in this A to B tier for sure. And for the C tier, like I said, these agents are still playable, but I feel like they're just a little weaker than the rest of them. I'll put Omen at C. I think Omen's smokes are next to Jet. I know Jet's smokes are the worst, but Omen's would probably be the second worst just because you can completely see inside of it. So it's not very safe, but it could create lots of outplay potential. His ultimate's pretty good. I think if you spam ultimate on cooldown whenever you receive it, you can cause a lot of pressure on the enemy team. You're ruining their map. They don't know where you are. Your teammates can get aggressive during this time. And he can dash from place to place, kind of like Jet. Omen has the ability to get to certain angles before certain angles that most agents can't get to, which is pretty good. But overall, I still feel like his kit is a little lackluster, but definitely still playable. Don't get me wrong, he's not in an F tier. No one is F tier. He's still C tier, still playable. Just I feel like definitely hard in a competitive setting where people should be able to communicate while he's ulting and be able to find him and play well against him. But who knows, there could be maps where there's lots of places to teleport to that you can maximize his ability. And as well as Viper. I felt like Viper is also niche. Viper, in my opinion, has potential to be insanely strong. Her walls, if lined up correctly, can cover huge parts of the map. You create a huge line, a huge wall line where you just block vision completely. And her poison cloud you can consistently activate when she recharges her fuel and consistently block vision. But the only issue I personally think Viper has is that the wall, even the smoke ball itself or the poison ball itself, feel very weak, feel very flimsy. Whenever I see the Viper toxic screen up, people tend to just zoom past it and take no damage and just flank anyways, and you can kind of get scammed yourself. People aren't really scared to spray through it or walk through it. It's not the safest wall. That's why Sage's wall is so much better, you know. But it's the fact that you can reactivate it and it does block vision. But everything is just easy to just walk by. Your ultimate can be a very coin flip ability. Sometimes it's hard to know when to use it. You can really ruin your team's synergy and their teamwork. Ultimate is not... It's definitely hard to get used to. I believe it's very good in a post plant scenario, but even to get to post plant might be tough if you're never getting to post plant. On defense, you could Viper ult and hold the side down yourself too. So, and it's okay. Every agent is viable. This is just my personal list at a competitive level. I still do think everyone can be used. I think these three should be used in almost every comp. And once you have the staple 3, you can kind of use anyone else. I would recommend having the top 3 S tier agents, and then you can have a blend of any of these. Most likely one of these initiators that are good at picking up kills and trading, including Phoenix as well, Breach, Jet, or Phoenix. And then the 5th agent can honestly be anything. It could be a fill player, it could be a niche player, and really insane Viper and an insane Omen. It really doesn't matter. As long as you have teamwork and team play and you know what you're doing, you can maximize your agent, you'll be okay. But yeah, thanks for watching. I definitely want to update the tier list as time goes by, as I learn more about the game, as the game evolves, as people learn more about the game and there's more competition, and we get to see how pros interact and top players interact with each other with these abilities and agents, as well as new agents coming out, as well as new maps coming out, because some agents do prosper on certain maps. So we will see the growth of this game. Thanks for watching. Peace.